Have you ever asked yourself, how do I take my business to the next level? Most of us business owners have. And if you do ask yourself this question often, then this is an episode that you do not want to miss. I'm going to talk to you about hiring or getting a fractional CMO or a marketing director for your business. And I'm also going to tell you about how this can elevate your business to the next level of earnings, growth, maturity, all at the fraction of the cost of hiring a single employee. So stay tuned.
Inkyma's Marketing Strategies is a podcast for small business owners hosted by Audrey Kirchner, co-founder and chief marketing strategist at Inkyma, helping you navigate the world of marketing so that you can market your business in the right way, see growth, and thrive regardless of the industry you're in. To learn more about Inkyma and what we do, ask a question, or schedule a marketing evaluation, go to the website inkyma.com. That's INKYMA.com. Listen to the show on your podcast player of choice, the Inkyma website, or the Inkyma YouTube channel. Just search for Inkyma Marketing Strategies and you'll find what you need.
So before I dive into today's topic, I want to let you know that I'm going to be referencing older episodes. I may be referencing outside sources, that sort of thing. If you want to listen to any of the episodes or do some research on stuff I'm talking about, check out the show notes on the website, inkyma.com. I try to list everything in there so that you don't have to go and search for it yourself. Okay? So now let's talk about fractional CMO. So what is a fractional CMO? CMO stands for Chief Marketing Officer. A less fancy term is marketing director, marketing strategist. This is the person that comes up with the marketing strategy, the marketing goals, any plans, any budgets, and then they hire the people to execute that plan, and they collect the data and they report on the results so that they know what to do next. So if you haven't listened to episode 1 of the podcast, or I did a whole branding series on logo design, imagery, customers, and how you talk to those customers, figuring out who they are. So it's the brand series. The links are in the show notes. I talk a lot about knowing your client and having a plan before you create tactics. Many business owners, they skip that step because they either don't have time and think it's not important when it's probably more important than anything else, or just don't know to do it. And this is where a marketing director comes in handy. These folks know the importance of identifying customers, having a strategy, and then figuring out the right language to talk to them, and then the imagery associated with it, all that really good. And so those are the ones that know how to do this. Your chief marketing officers at larger companies, marketing managers or marketing directors. Now, here's where the word fractional comes in. Small and medium-sized businesses necessarily don't need to have this person as a full-time staff member. They can be part-time, right? And it's far less expensive for the business to hire a fractional CMO than to hire an employee. And it's actually probably better for small to medium-sized businesses too. And let me tell you why. First is expertise. So if you get a really good marketing strategist, marketing manager, full-time, they're going to be able to command a salary of $125,000 a year or more easy, right, for what they do, because they're helping the business make money. They're part of the program. But as a fractional CMO or a fractional marketing manager, you can get that expertise, all the bells and whistles and good stuff for the same price as if you were going to bring in a lower level employee. So $25,000 a year, $50,000 a year, and depending on their model, you may get additional support services. So that's another bonus. Fractional CMO models are different. Some will do just strategy and hand it over. Some will do planning as well and then manage it. Here at Inkyma, the model that we have, because we do provide fractional CMO services as well as just being your marketing agency where we'll do your website or we'll do something else, when we come in, we'll determine what you need. And so if you need 2 out of the 3 services the agency offers, we will offer to fill them in as part of the overall program. And it actually is going to cost you far less because it's a lot easier for me as a fractional CMO to talk and work with my own team than it is another outside party that maybe isn't using the same tool sets that we're using and all that other good stuff. And so that fractional CMO can also manage your team, which takes some things off of your plate as well. So that's really the benefit of looking at this type of model. So instead of hiring an employee to do this, or trying to manage your web designer, your social media person, maybe your ad person, and your content marketing system yourself, you hire someone to do it. So now that we know what this is, and it sounds really interesting and tantalizing, let's talk about what a fractional CMO actually does, like day to day, what they're going to do for your business and how this could possibly work for you. Okay, so let's go through like the top 5 things. I kind of created a list of 5 that a fractional CMO is going to do for your company right from the moment you hire them and meet them. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to have multiple meetings with you and anyone that's key on your staff to look at what your existing growth plan and growth strategy is for the company. This could include product development. This could include sales team. So maybe you say to them, I added a salesperson this year and I want to maximize their ability to bring people in the door, because sales and marketing are 2 sides of the same coin. I did an episode on what that really means and how sales and marketing can work together. So definitely go check that out. And product development. If your part of your growth plan is to launch a new product this year, there are a whole bunch of things that have to happen from a marketing perspective, not just from product implementation and delivery, in order to make this successful. So they're going to go through all of that with you. Then they're going to ask you about your clients, not just your existing clients, but who you want your clients to be, especially if you're doing anything new or different, new division, new products, new services. Your existing products may not be for this new service. They may not complement the same group. They may be a whole new group and outreach for you, but they want to know who your best clients are, because that's who you're going to market to. And then who do you think your competitors are? Do you know who they are? They're going to want to look at them, look at what they're doing, kind of size you up in the marketplace to see how large or small it is. And then they want to know what you're doing now, what you're doing today from a marketing perspective. The next thing that they're going to do is then they're going to evaluate your entire setup, your team members, both internal and external, companies that you've hired, software that you use, anything that touches the marketing pieces. So what CRM system are you using? What is your website built in? What are you using to do social posting, if anything? They need to know what you're doing now to see if there are any gaps based off of your strategic goals. So they're going to create that strategy, look at what you're doing today, and then see what's missing or see what needs to be enhanced. If you don't have a strategy complete with customer persona and brand script, they're going to go ahead and create that for you. A lot of times when we come into a client, we'll say, how does your brand look? And they'll go, oh, here's our logo. And that's about all they have. If you go and listen to my branding series, you'll know that the logo is just one piece of all of it. You need to identify who your customers are, the ones that you want to attract more of, who are going to be really lucrative. And then you're going to want to know how to talk to them. And this may be more than one audience, depending on your company. So they're going to fill in that gap probably first and foremost before anything else. So based off of all this information that they've gathered, they're going to put together a strategy and a plan that's associated with tactics. And then they're going to prioritize it based on your needs. So what's the most important thing that needs to be done first based on your situation? Typically, after the brand, it's the website. That's your biggest marketing asset. And normally all your other pieces push back to the website. And if the CMO and their team have had to go back and create branding scripts and customer personas, it's most likely that the language and the imagery on the website isn't talking specifically to that audience, or audiences, right? There may be more than one. So that's usually what gets done first. And then right after that is optimizing any and all content that you have out on the web to ensure people are finding you. And then, so based off of your prioritization, your needs, everything that's been put together, they're going to work with you, manage a team, whether it's a combination of your internal, your external team, and maybe people from their agency, or depending on how you hire them, they may hand it over to you and say, okay, go ahead and implement this. It's up to you. So it's really very, very specific. It's not like going to a company and say, I want social media, and boom, they give you social media. A fractional CMO, a marketing strategist, marketing director is going to say, here is what I think you need based off of all the information that you gave me. It's a big difference. And a lot of times when we come in and we say these things to our clients and we show them the plan, they go, oh, we didn't even think of that, but it really makes total sense, right? Because one, we do this all day long. And two, we can step back from everything and really look at it from the big picture to see what is necessary. And then we do best practices as well. You're listening to Inkyma's Marketing Strategies, and I'm Audrey Kirshner. We are talking about who a fractional CMO is and how to hire one so you can take your business to the next level. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through an example of a company that I've kind of put together in my head. It's like a mishmash of different companies that we've worked with a little bit, just to give you an idea of how this could work as like a day in the life. So let's say this company is a seasonal based business, right? They reach out to us. Their marketing manager left right at the height of their busy season, and they're left without someone to manage all of this. Now, the owner of the business really trusted this marketing manager, so they were pretty hands off. They knew what the programs were that were being run, but they didn't know how to do it physically, which is the right way to do it. You want hands-off management if you're going to grow a business. They met with the marketing manager on a weekly basis. They saw progress, all that kind of good stuff. So when this owner reached out to us, they were like, listen, we like what we're doing. We are open to improvements, of course, because we want to keep growing, but we need to keep what we have in place up and running quickly. Like, we don't want to see things stop. We're at the very beginning of our busy season. So with that information, we had a couple of meetings, and then we evaluated everything that they have. And we found out that the first and foremost was to keep their social media presence alive and posting, and then their email marketing, right? Because they were really good about sending consistent emails and putting out posts consistently. They were driving a lot of new email signups through their website. Their website actually looked pretty good, but it still needed an overall evaluation, because when we looked at it, we saw some key things missing. And then as part of our discussions, this client didn't have customer personas or brand scripts. And there was some confusion about who their perfect client was, because what she told me their perfect client was and how their posts were talking, they were talking to two different people. So then it turned out, as part of our investigation, they in fact did have two audiences. And so we had to make sure that the language worked for both, because when you talk to one audience exclusively, it could turn off the second audience. So once we got the social media and the content marketing, the email sends under control, and we had to get access to all the accounts, because when I said the marketing manager left, they left. So we had to go through the process of getting accounts established and installed, and then getting posts ready to go. So once we did that, we then created the customer personas and the brand scripts, because putting posts out that are similar to the existing ones is fine until you have who you're talking to in place. And so we didn't want to not post anything. It was better to post something than nothing. But once the personas and the brand scripting were in place, then we could change what we're saying, how we're saying it, the imagery associated to it. And then we created the rest of the plan. Like, what we saw is that there were gaps in different parts of marketing. And so we looked to start filling those gaps. So one of the gaps that we filled was automation. Maybe 10 to 15 people were signing up for their email every day, but then it was a manual process to get them into the CRM system so that then they could start receiving newsletters and updates. We put automation in that would actually automatically add the person, tag them appropriately so that they could get whatever emails they are. And we set up a welcome series. There's nothing worse than saying, yeah, I want to join your email, and then you get nothing, right? Until some newsletter gets triggered and you're kind of thrown into the queue like everybody else. So a nice warm email welcome series, 1 to 2 emails, just to get everybody kind of primed. Then blog writing, content writing, so that we're actually getting a boost for search engine optimization. Their optimization was actually pretty good to start with, but what we wanted to do was lengthen and widen the amount of search terms that they were hitting for. And that's where articles come in, because it's a really great way to get questions about the industry answered and FAQs and all that other good stuff. So once that was under control, we looked at their social media presence and their followers on their different accounts and realized those numbers need to be brought up, not in a vanity way, but with social media, the platforms only send your post to a very, very small amount of people. Like the ability to see it is very small. So you need larger audiences. So if you want 100 people to see a post, you really need to have like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 followers in order for that to happen. And in this line of work, the seasonal business, that was very doable, right? And so that process got started for adding more people to all of their different social accounts so that all this posting that we were doing on their behalf now to the right people didn't go to waste. And then the last thing on the list was updating the website's content and imagery to make sure it spoke directly to the primary audiences, to both of them. The two audiences were very different from each other. One was luxury, the other was thrifty, but both wanted this from this particular company. And so we had to figure out a way to talk to both of them, depending on what was going on. So once we got all of that up and running and humming, then we kind of went into normal mode with the client where we set up all the reporting that we like to see and do so we know how to tweak campaigns, and then started reviewing that with her and talking about other additional things. So we got the main stuff out of the way, got our back up and running, got a really great comfort level going, knowing that we were getting more people, and then talking about implementing new and different things depending on what was going on in her field. And then just moving forward from there, reviewing reports, making decisions and changes based off of those reports. So the question is based off of all this information that I've shared with you, is the fractional CMO model right for your business, right? Ask yourself that question. Is this for me? Is this something that I could do and it would work for me? So let's talk about some action steps that you can take now to, one, decide if that's what you want, a fractional CMO, and then two, the right kind for you and your business. So the first thing I want you to do is look at your team today and ask yourself this question, and you got to include yourself in this. Do you have the expertise on staff, either you or your team, to be the marketing manager, to do all the right things to take your business to the next level? If the answer is no, the next question is do you want to take the time, money, effort to invest in the education to be able to do these things? It's not that you can't. It's the real question is, should you? Should you invest time, money, and effort into this, or would you be better served hiring someone, trying to meet your goals for the next year? So if the answer is no, like no, we don't have the expertise, no, I don't want to spend the time and effort into DIYing this and figuring out how to do this the right way, then you need to start researching fractional CMOs or marketing directors, right? Use the search term fractional CMO because that's kind of the industry standard. That's why I keep using it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Most small business owners are like, I don't need a CMO. But it's what we're called so that you can try to find the right company for you. Because if you look for marketing director, you might get someone who's trying to look for a Fortune 500 company and not even interested in what you're doing. Or you might look for an agency and they may not understand this type of model. So there's different levels that provide these services, right? There's some fractional CMOs that will come in, do the strategy only, write it up and hand it over to you. There's some that will do strategy and then do the management of your team and then help you hire people. And then there's companies like Inkyma where we're a full service marketing agency that also offers fractional CMO services, which means we can do any and everything. We can do just the strategy, we can do strategy management, we can manage your existing vendors, or we can replace them with our team or supplement what you don't have with our team. And we don't really care. We want to create a solution that works best for you as the client throughout all of this. So once you've decided I want model A, B, or C, then you can start doing your research, interviewing them, and decide a good fit for you. And that's kind of really it. And then they should start taking you through their onboarding process once you get all the bits and bytes figured out. So here are my final thoughts for you on this. Expertise and cost and time are not the only factors to consider when you're bringing in a fractional CMO. You got to make sure that their personality and their business style matches your own, your business culture, how you like to work, your ideology, because you're going to be interacting with this person a lot and a lot with their team. And usually when you have someone in that management director C-suite type of role, their team is going to reflect their management style and their philosophy and how they like to work. So you don't want to spend time with someone that you're not going to have a great relationship with, a good partnership with, because you're going to be meeting with them at the very least monthly after everything's all set up, and it could be twice a month. So make sure you keep that in mind as well. Here at Inkyma, we like to give back to the business community. I provide a free 45-minute consultation to any business owner, regardless if you're looking for a marketing agency, a fractional CMO, or you just want to talk through different options or questions that you have about a fractional CMO, or you want to just talk about your website. Those 45 minutes are yours to have a conversation about anything with me. Just go to the website, inkyma.com, inkyma.com, and click on the Schedule a Marketing Evaluation button in the upper right-hand corner. Pick your date and your time, and we are on the calendar. If you just have a quick question that you want an email response to, go to the contact form at the bottom, send it to me. I will respond. Absolutely. So I hope you found this episode's information informative, helpful. If so, share this episode, the entire podcast, with other business owners that you know. I'm guessing if you got something out of it, they will absolutely do. Because we as a business owner community, one, we need to support each other, and two, we need to make sure our companies grow. So thanks for listening and have an amazing day.